You know, I've always been a fan of the Brougham style of American sedans, and imagine my excitement when I found out that there was a liquidation sale going on, going out of business, place that supplied cars for movie sets, as a matter of fact, which is what this was. It was a movie car, and so I got this for a steal, $1,500 running and driving. I think it's just, I mean, look at the value opportunities that it's got. It matches my garage and my shed. I mean, this was clearly meant to be. This is a 1987 Crown Victoria, and it does run and drive. It doesn't have brakes. It needs a couple maybe minor cosmetic type of things, and electrical stuff. That's all minor details. We can fix that. We can fix anything if it's for the right cause. And you know, there was a time in this country when this was the norm. You know, there was a chicken in every pot and a Crown Victoria in every carport. And I'm a history buff. I'm a history fan. Not mostly like governments and like wars and stuff, but Bromes, you know, sedans, Landaus, that kind of you get the idea. Well, it's a little bit dirty, you know. So I'm thinking it needs to be washed. Yeah, she's getting there. Yeah, she is gonna get there. So if you haven't noticed already, the profit motive with this operation is profit. And the thing is about the Crown Victoria LTD is, you know, this really came from a different time. You know, this is a distinguished gentleman's car, but back in the day, this was before DoorDash and avocado toast car seats. That nonsense. People knew how to stretch a dollar. You know what I mean? Their dimes counted. And that's exactly what we're doing here. We're gonna count dimes. All right, so just for demonstration, started waxing. This is waxed. This is the line where I stopped the waxing. This is unwaxed. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Now before I wax it, I'm noticing the upper surfaces of this paint, like this trunk lid, have a lot of contaminants in them. I'm talking about this black stuff. Pressure washing didn't get it off. Soap washing didn't get it off. You can feel it with your hands. You can see it. It's very tough. Now, I haven't used a clay bar in a while, but from what I understand, that stuff is pretty much exactly what it's for. So I picked one up. This is my first test patch, and I'm using my own shadow here. This is clay barred. Not clay barred. Clay barred, not clay barred. So I think I'm making the right call here. So this is post clay bar. I just did the upper surfaces, hood, roof, trunk. Big difference. I was halfway through it and some gal rolled down her window and went, "Hey, Daddy." So I guess the Crown Vic must be looking good. Now that is a gentleman's Brougham sedan. We have waxed it. Whew. Applied some tire shine. So I want to turn my attention now to the interior, because if you think the outside cleaned up nice, I got a feeling this place is going to follow suit. So my first order of business is to address this. It's been like this since I bought it. You know, I suspect this is some kind of accessory wiring for whatever stuff they had in it for filming movies. So I got to get to the bottom of that. It don't look real safe with all those electrical items everywhere. And so, I mean, it dries fine. So the glove box is conveniently self-tapered shut for permanent safety. So we're going to open that and attempt to get to the bottom of all this so we can replace this panel and start working our way through. All right, our electrical demons are hereby banished, and we're starting to look a little bit cleaner in here. Needs a couple more of those little plastic clips for the interior, but we can get those at AutoZone. Issues with this interior now include the cleanliness level, I suppose. The headliner, because this thing has a hole in the roof. The headliner's taking on some water damage, so that we may need to get on order. The other big question I have is, what are we going to do about this dash pad? So it's got this felt on top of it. It's not particularly adhered. I think I'm just going to rip this off for now, and we're going to clean this up, and then we need to come up with a solution. Either ignore it would be plan A. We could buy a dash carpeting. I think I heard they were like 75 bucks. So that's possibly a legitimate option. So this is our before shots reel on the interior. Dash pad, steering wheel. Seats are already pretty good. Carpet. Guess it's officially the end of the day, but this is where we're at. We got water beating. We got a good looking Brougham. I'm telling you, this thing is more effective than a speed bump. By the time I got this thing shined up this afternoon, I swear everybody was driving like 3 miles an hour past this house. It has an effect. And this is where we made it on the interior. As you can see, the seats in this car are A-okay. Steering wheel is still grimy, so we're gonna have to take that to the next level. This dashboard is frankly a lost cause. I didn't even attempt to clean it. Well, I kind of started and then I realized, nah. And the same with the headliner. The head needs a headliner. The carpeting came out pretty good. Could probably stand to be shampooed in some spots. I'm kind of 50-50 about these floor mats. I don't think they're actually factory, even though they say Ford on them. These are how the door panels came out. They're not perfect, but they're better. And you know, all is not lost if there's a few things that aren't perfect. When you do the first initial detail, both inside and outside, really, as like I always say, that first initial cleanup is not just to actually do the cleaning up. It's to figure out what you've got underneath the initial layer. So we now know what needs to be replaced. We know what needs to be extra deep cleaned. We know a little bit more about the overall condition of this thing, whether or not it's worth investing in, what's broken on it and what's not. So now that we're in the garage, we're performing our first mechanical inspection. So I know you can't see a whole ton, but the brake lines on this thing all look intact. They don't look pretty. I think they're original, especially the two fronts. They don't look good, but I think they're intact. I don't think that's the source of our massive brake leak. Not seeing any fluid coming out of the drums. Not seeing any massive leaking from either of the caliper pistons. A lot of the rubber bushings are cracked, but it clearly has been greased regularly over the years, so that's not a bad sign. You know, I love it when I get undersold on a car. They told me, oh, those tires are old, you don't want to fool with them. They're 2021 DOT. I mean, I was looking at them, I was like, man, they don't look dry rotted. Yeah, so these tires are fine. The trans seems pretty dry, the engine seems pretty dry. The engine's got a slight oil pan leak and a slight valve cover leak, neither of which rise to my attention. This parking brake has never stayed down. If our brakes are gone and the lines look okay, and both the front end reservoirs of the master cylinder are empty, where does that put us? But that brake booster's got a lot of evidence of fluid dripping down it. So I'm wondering if it wasn't just a master cylinder leak this whole time. We're now attempting to remove the first door panel for our power window motor. Just gonna do a little bit of diagnosis here. Maybe remove the motor. Convenience. What does that do? There we go. I got a hunch one of the reasons why these one motors might have failed is because the weather stripping on the outside's failed. We got 12 volts. That motor it's wet. It's taking on moisture from the bad weather stripping. All right, well, I just learned some internet secrets. There's a lot of failure mechanisms where you do in fact have to drill these rivets out and take this whole mofo, pardon me, out of this door. I'd love to avoid that. So if you think that your failure is the motor itself, just the motor, this is the little secret. There, and there, those three dimples, you can drill those out, turn them into nice round holes, and on the other side of those dimples will be the three bolts holding the motor itself to the actuator. If you really think you got a bad motor and nothing else, you can drill those holes out, unbolt the motor, and it'll fall into the door, and then you can remove it. All right, so we have drilled our three holes. As you can see, we've ascertained that an 8mm will do them. So we're gonna try and get this motor out of here. All right, well, she's out. First window motor, driver's window motor. And actually, that procedure for just removing the motor and leaving everything else in place, talk about easy street. I'm just hoping that this works for us and that our actuator, our gears, everything else in here is fine. And we only need a new motor, just that. Tackling the headliner now. Fortunately, these old American car headliners are not a complex job. All this trim around here either pulls right off or is attached with one or two Phillips head screws, which are readily findable. All right, so we got boxes. All right, now that our boxes are in, we're starting to work our way through our window motors. This is the big money shot for me. If I can get these windows working, just replacing these motors using these little cutout holes that the internet told me about and not having to reach around and do the whole nonsense with this assembly. All right. Well, here we are, a moment of truth. What you gonna do? Oh, ho, ho, ho. Smooth as butter. smooth as something. I can lube them tracks up. Oh yeah. All right, so our driver's window is fixed, and I think we got a path forward, obviously, for the other two window motors that are down. And we can bang through those pretty easily. However, I am discovering now that I'm in here that we've got lock issues. The rear doors, the power locks on them work, the manual locks on them work. The two front doors, neither the power lock switch or the manual lever works on these to lock and unlock them, which is kind of tough. We're gonna have to fix that. The problem is that this thing right here, this black thing, is our power lock actuator, and that is stuck. It's frozen solid, like everything electrical in this door, because the weather stripping is gone. Got a very finite lifespan on that. So I bet you we could get a new one of them on rockauto.com. Yeah, this door is gonna be damn A1 okay by the time I'm done rebuilding all this. So that comes out of there, huh? There we go. All right. And we're gonna go ahead and throw an air filter in it. I don't always throw an air filter in everything, but this one seemed to deserve it. I was about to go ahead and drop the oil, but then I thought better of it. I thought, you know, I'll put a half a can of seafoam in the crankcase and let this thing just warm up for just a second before I do that. But wow. Check out how smooth this thing is. Unreal. This engine looks like it's sitting still. Sitting here idling. I mean, my hands are shaking more than the engine is. It looks like this engine is. I've always been blown away with these Ford 302s. I just when you get a decent one like this, it's not hard to find. I mean, most of them, they stay decent. Just the running condition here is. Cold idle, hasn't run in days. Sounds pretty good. And the old oil's beautiful. Nice and black. No milky, no shiny. Very nice. And the last element of the Berryman's triple play. One full can into the tank. I just love feeling like I'm doing something. Even though I don't really know if this does anything. I like the way it feels. Go ahead and lubricate the grease points. We have upper and lower ball joints are greasable on this town car. Tie rod ends are greasable. Couple joints in the steering linkage are greasable. And the drive line is not. The U-joints are not. And as I recall, I had taken this front door piece apart in order to put in a new window motor. So I got into it and I realized that the power door lock actuator was seized. And so this thing really had no door locks. In fact, yeah, you actually couldn't lock this front door at all. All right, well, that's not a sight for sore eyes. Yeah, so we got our power door lock working and installed. I think our power door locks on this, actually, I think this door's ready to go back together. I think this door, we started with no power windows, no power door lock, and I think we're ready to tie this back together. That one needs, I think, a window and a door lock. That one I think needs just a window. All right, next up, brakes. I'm gonna replace these front lines, the master cylinder, front soft lines, master cylinder, and bleed them, and hope our problem's fixed. Went ahead and got the old front brake hoses out, and they're in very sorry shape. I don't know if that's focusing or not. I feel like this is the thing to do. I feel like replacing these is the smart, decent thing to do here. Oh. So my diagnosis is failed master cylinder. It was a Bendix. So I had one of my first moments of mass annoyance with the Crown Vic down here bleeding the brakes. So I was doing the rears, and I got the rears bled, and then I started looking up front, and I'm like, oh, there's giant puddles under both the wheels. Did I not tighten something yesterday when I did the brake lines? So the brake lines have this design where the caliper end of the brake line bolts on with this like block using copper crush washers and a banjo bolt. That's my problem, is that these the caliper side of the block mating surface seems to be susceptible to rust jacking. I mean, granted, the car's 40 years old, so I guess I got to give it a little bit of credit there. But anyways, so the driver's side, I took it apart, cleaned it up, torqued it down pretty good. That one I think I got tightened up. I'm not real confident about it yet, but I think that's tightened up. This one on the passenger side, I cannot get right. See all the streaking on this wheel of something having some kind of fluid from here having flown around. Now I'm starting to wonder if this rust jacking problem didn't exist all along. You know, I'm starting to wonder if this wasn't a thing. So I'm concerned that I'm gonna have to replace my caliper, and it's possible that this was our brake leak all along. It had nothing to do with the hoses or the master cylinder, even though that master cylinder looked really rough and the hose looked really rough. Also got some fresh pads for this thing while I was at it. That one real tough. She's on there good enough. There we go. So there's our difference in hole surface type. And I mean, you can see it's nice and clean on the new one. And there's just all this, I would say it looks like an intrusion of rust, corrosion jacking on the old one. Get some purple on it. Why won't you go in there? Just takes skill. Here I am crushing my crush washers. Nope. Better not run into any issues and have to go back to the store again. That's good and tight. That's satisfactory. At least I've declared that should be satisfactory. All right, so the brakes are bled. I did not feel the need to take anybody else along. And I'm gonna take the Crown Vic out. What a lovely car. Really, not kidding. I'm gonna take her out. We're gonna probably do like the old lap around the golf course. Man, this thing. Man, the way these things drive, it harkens back to a bygone time frame in American beauty. This thing, I better be able to get like $4 grand for this. Whew. It sounds so good. It's loud. And I just had to stop and add my deluxe driver's side window just in time for fall driving season. I'm trying to do this without totally destroying the headliner board. What if it would come out this way? Nah. Oh, I should have done this at a different point in my lifetime. Well, she's out of there. Really wasn't that hard. Just had her lay down this way, brought her out here. So it's kind of gross because we had a roof leak. I want to seal up this roof leak while the headliner is out. So I'm probably going to address that soon. And this is what we're taking out. So the headliner board is in rough shape. Do my best to clean it up, but truth be told, I think whatever goes back in is going to look better than that. So for the removal of this foam to get us down to the cardboard layer, which is necessary to put the new one on, this is what the internet told me to do. And if you just do this for a while, you can just basically, yeah. See, you knock out all this foam. It's just time consuming and messy. But you get right down to that cardboard layer that you need. See, there it goes. That cardboard layer appearing. We'll just sit here and do this a while. This whole thing will be good as new. After cleaning and refurbishing, this is as good as I can get it. It's not the best, especially for the amount of time it took us to get to this place. It's water damaged, it's warped. It has spots where it has a complete loss of integrity, especially on that side. But honestly, whatever we throw in is going to be better than what's in there by like at least 90%. Now, it's been years since I've done a headliner. Years. I did several of them back in my day, but then I guess glue started getting better. I want to make this nice. So here's my plan for the roof hole. I've procured one of these. It's like I don't know, hood insulation or interior piece affixer item. It says it's for a Honda. It's from the shelf at a store, probably AutoZone. And I clipped its tail there. And my plan is to just stick that right there. And then I've got some clear silicone adhesive sealant. All right, so here's how she's looking. So now we've got an opportunity to examine our handiwork in the light of day. You know, I didn't do a great job with this, but this headliner board was in pretty rough shape to begin with. This was easier when it was coming out, when I cared less. Can you imagine me carrying even less? Well, this is much easier than coming out was. Mess have I gotten myself into? I've been dreading this moment for some time. Ooh. There's hardware everywhere. I'm sitting on it. I had been trying to keep some of these items together, these screws and tiny oh, it's already deluxe. Does it do anything? Come on. All right, so here's our reinstalled headliner. As you enter here from the driver's compartment, it looks pretty decent. Another important note, got our trunk all cleaned up. All our, for the most part, all our carpet pieces are back in place. Got our spare tire and bumper jack pieces. I did verify that everything is here for that. and reinstalled it up here, so that's a lot cleaner, because this was just full of leaves and then all that stuff was rolling around, and much nicer now. Getting her ready for sale. Yeah, the compressor is running for longer and longer already. Yeah, let her go. Let her roll for a minute. Hand's getting nice and cold. It already had a little bit of freon. It was already kind of working, so I don't think it leaks real bad. I know it works. It already cools down a little bit. Anything else I get now is just icing on the damn cake. Woo! Yeah, feels good. Man, maybe for the next stop, we cover up this dashboard. That'd be nice. That's, yeah. Look at that. And now for radio removal. Well, there you have that. So now this all goes in the house. This is the cheapest singled-in radio on Crutchfield. Sounds decent, has Bluetooth, has radio. All you really need. This is the Ford singled-in kit that fitmanizes the radio. All right, so our radio is now wired in. Well, I mean, I think it is. As you can see, this wiring is not exactly textbook. This is the second time that this car has been rewired for an aftermarket radio. The first time being in the 80s when things were different. Oh, it's not coming on at all, is it? Oh, no, there it is. Okay. FM. So we got some sound. Where's the tuner?
Very wrong, but are near, according to Trump administration officials. Earlier this week, President Trump said he would use the...
Okay. I think it actually sounds okay. Let me check that I got all four corners before I get copyrighted. Yeah, then we'll doll this up with like a ton of electrical tape. All right, well, without getting myself copyrighted, new radio's in, works, it's beautiful, radio reception's good, it's got Bluetooth. I got all four speakers, all four corners. All right, now with the radio install completed, we've relocated ourselves to the underside of this fine vehicle. A little bit of used car salesmanship. Just got a little bit of surface rust right here on this rear axle. That's it. Not gonna hurt anything, but the customer doesn't always understand that. So sometimes we gotta help them understand. Yeah, we're just gonna blast it with the wire brush, and then we're gonna spray it with some rust converter. Just a real quick. somehow this thing were to fall on me now. Man. Look at the beauty. Yeah. That is just magic to my eyes. Boy, I love that. So with this Broham right here, the chrome fixtures are a major part of the overall beauty appearance. Well, actually, I don't think this is, I think this would be like aluminum. Anyways, it's metal of some kind, it's supposed to be shiny. It's a little bit dull around here. You can kind of see, I think I tried some chrome polish on here or metal polish on here and not here, and you can see the shininess different. It's not gonna be perfect, but I'm gonna go ahead and on at least these, because they really need it, I'm gonna hit these with some metal polish. But like this right here, this came around really well. Yeah, I'm sort of like, midway through. Maybe that'll give you a good idea of the difference. That side's done. That's the line right about there. This side's not. This side's really cloudy, as you can see. I get the right angle. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. That side over there is much shinier. It kind of feels like it's a lot of, it's kind of time consuming for what I'm getting out of it. But I do think it's adding a little bit of value. See, there's some shine in places where there wasn't shine before. Look at this. This is our axle. It's starting to dry. I don't know. Should I spray it one more time? Or should I just let it dry and say that's satisfactory? I think it's going to be, I think it is going to be satisfactory. One of the last things I need to do is the power window motors on the passenger side of the car. These holes, these 3 holes, took no time at all to drill. Start with a little bit in that dimple, and it just goes like butter. Bam. This is kind of interesting. The window motor that I first pulled out of the driver's door was very clearly aftermarket, had a remanufactured tag, had a 2017 date stamped on it. This one, on the other hand, is factory. See, it says Ford right there. United something electric systems, and then Ford up there. So this is probably an original piece. And complete. So I got the old Broham shined up one last time for picture day. If I may say so myself, it looks pretty good. I can't say that I regret polishing all this aluminum. That actually, with it washed, that really makes it even a bigger difference than I thought. My last 2 items before I take her out to the golf course and shoot pictures is we got one sealed beam up front. Then on the back, been putting this off for a while now. All right, well, this is officially picture day. We're up here at the golf course. I'm gonna take a few phone pics of her. And this is what I'm declaring officially ready for the internet. All right, well, this may be the final transmission on the Crown Victoria. Guy's coming over this afternoon. He sounds serious, so he may go ahead and pick it up. If I sell it, it'll be for $4,000. I paid $1,500 for this. I put about $1,500 into it, so I'm into it total about $3,000. You know, it didn't seem like it needed anything big. It really didn't even need paint, tires, engine, or trans work. But it does get out of hand quick, even with a bunch of little stuff. I mean, what this thing needed, it needed a lot of brake work. It did need all the window motors and a headliner to be cleaned in general, and just a good wash, good cleanup. Headliner, radio, one tire, a battery. Those are expensive. It adds up. It adds up. It adds up. So that ultimate profit would be about $1,000. And I feel good about that. And it's going to, if this guy shows up, he's like a Gen Z kid getting the new generation into the boxy stuff. To me, that's worth all of it. So that's the Crown Vic $1,000 flip.